Here we go. We got Marvel, we got AWA, we got Image. Let's find out if these comics will make good film and television shows right now. So let's jump right into it. Another episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I am an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer. And on top of that, we are going to jump into Marvel and see if Blade would make a good film and television, because the movie itself has been scrapped so many times. In my opinion, let's just jump into that situation with Mahershala Ali and Wesley Snipes. It's kind of like Linda Carter playing Wonder Woman. As good as Gal Gadot is, she's never going to match what Linda Carter did back in the 70s. The same thing with whoever they have jump into Superman. In my opinion, Christopher Reeve was a great Superman. It's good. He's the goal to hit, and so far nobody's hit it. Even as good as Cavill is, he didn't have the energy, and that's probably because of the directing as well. But he doesn't have that gravitas or whatever, almost like a naivete as well for what Christopher Reeve had. He had that, especially when he played Clark Kent and stuff like that. He saw the good in everybody, which gave him a weakness, and he showed that. Whenever somebody was in danger, he was like, no. So yeah, it's going to be hard to beat. In the 70s, the casting was just through the roof. So it's going to be hard to beat those guys. And then now I move into Blade. Wesley Snipes was the perfect Blade. It's going to be hard to beat him. And in my opinion, Mahershala Ali, as good an act, obviously he's won an Academy Award. So as good as he is, he's just not Blade, man. He doesn't have that killer instinct that Wesley Snipes portrayed. So, he oozed that stuff. So it's going to be hard to beat him. But anyway, so jumping into the Blade series here, this is number 7. It started out really good, and who was this? Yeah, Brian Hill. So it started out really good, and then it just dropped off the deep end. There was a lot of problems with it. So in the beginning, we had this mystery where he was, he had taken a job, and the job ended up unleashing a demon. Then he got his ex-girlfriend, who was an arms dealer, involved. He has this other girl involved that has ancient magic kind of thing going on. And then he got Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange really didn't help him at all. But he got this sword that he ended up not even using and losing it quickly. And so it's this Adana character that they have. Oh, I didn't even notice that my book has crinkles in it. Not that this means this thing's probably worth $1. I pay $5, it's worth $1. If I'm lucky. If not, it's worth like 50 cents. So in this episode, or this issue, we have the Hulk. The Hulk teams up, and the art here is not very good, as you can see. The Hulk is drawn pretty horribly. So this is kind of an offshoot issue. This issue doesn't even need to exist for the regular story. So as Hulk is fighting these demons, the sword just, goes through them. So Blade shows up in all his, glory. And I hate when artists do this. I hate it. So what? The Hulk is, 50 feet tall? He's hunched over, and he towers over Blade. I'm like, what am I even looking at here? So plus we have a continuity error, so I don't know what the editor was even thinking about all this, but Banner is drawn horribly here. And where's Charlie? So if Banner's here, and they even reference the continuity from the Hulk book, but his little girl that he's dealing with, the teenage girl, her name is Charlie, She's nowhere to be seen here. The writer just left her out. So why is the editor saying, no, Charlie's got to be in there? He wouldn't have left Charlie alone. Although he keeps trying and doesn't. She keeps either getting in trouble or whatever else. So this one has nothing to do with anything that's going on. There's a possession of a little boy, and Blade kind of sacrifices himself to draw the creature out of the boy. So we got one of those things going on there. And he's like, no, jump into me. Well, first of all, Blade didn't want to get involved at all. He's like, this is not really what I do. But then he does get involved, and he says, jump into me. And he turns, and this is why I think the whole thing with Dracula really doesn't work. Because now, here's the possessed guy. And I mean, it's got that horror type vibe to it, at least. We do have that. So he says, I don't like the fact that he has the powers of Dracula. That I hope this is a small portion of time that he has this. It's not an ongoing that he can turn to mist and can turn into a wolf. It's not Blade. First of all, Blade's a half-blood. So he shouldn't even be able to have this kind of stuff. That's why he's a daywalker. So anyway, we have all these creatures, blah, blah, blah. But the creature takes the bait and does jump into him. And then we jump back into Hulk. Doing all kinds of stuff. I don't even know what he's doing. So he, as a wolf, he pukes him out. Get that guy out of me! I had beans for breakfast, man. Literally hair of the dog. And the guy's like, "You tricked me! The demon said that, not the guy. And then he leaves, and that's the end of the book. So it's a very average thing. I don't know where this is going anymore. So I had high hopes for it in the beginning. We had a little heist on a train, and that's where it started going downhill. Because it could have been really good, but it wasn't. And I almost wish that they'd done why Hulk. I think it's because Hulk is selling well, and they wanted to, and Hulk has that horror thing going on, so that's why they wanted to throw that in. I almost wish they would throw Scarlet Witch in here, since she's getting written so poorly right now. So will it make a good film and television show? No, this script is not good. The script is not good, and it's getting worse. So unfortunately, because I love Blade, and they do have a good figure of him coming out this year, I'm really excited about the Wesley Snipes face on it. But no, this is not going to work. Sorry. I hope it gets better. But maybe when we get a new storyline. That's why I was kind of hoping the storyline would end at 6, and it's still going at 7, which means it's going to go all the way to 12. So we have to brave through another 5 issues before we even get a new storyline. All right, so let's jump into AWA Comics. Sarah Cho, which I think is related to Frank Cho in some way, with a book called Red Light. And Red Light is about an android that has every part of a human that a human has, except with an exoskeleton, which I don't understand how that works, but that's how it does. So she can eat and everything, eat and have sex and all that stuff, and she's exactly like, I don't think she can get pregnant, though. Little robot baby. So anyway, she's a sex worker. She's stuck in in this tower, this building, and her pimp is basically the guy who created her, is called Mr. And so he's basically Mr. Who's also in a band. I don't know if anybody remembers the Mr. band, but probably the joke is lost. So anyway, she ends up meeting this teenage girl who's also stuck in there, but then she realizes the teenage girl is actually human. And she's like, you haven't seen the outside world either? And she goes, no, I've been stuck in here. and I'm not allowed to leave. So now it's kind of a selfless thing where she could accept her fate, but because somebody else has the same fate as her, now she's motivated to get them both out. So that's what this whole issue is that she is gaining intel from and asking favors, which is dangerous, because if somebody says no, then they can basically tattle on her that she has these plans. But she's asking everybody all these questions about what the outside, because she's got to be prepared for what the outside world is going to lead to her. So she starts asking, all of, I guess, one of the guys to help get her out. He's actually an arms dealer. And the only time he can be himself is with her, and all this stuff. Is obviously a lot of nudity in here. But he has, like, one eye. So obviously he was, got hurt in using one of his products. So anyway, he agrees to help get her out the following week. But she needs to get information to the little girl and stuff like that. So she goes to where, like, the mechanic or the robotics expert to help her. And she does. She passes the note along. And, and she's also learning how to read because she didn't know how to read before. So by reading, she's able to write. And she's, of course, reading Little Mermaid, of course, because she's got red hair. She needs to see the outside world. Part of your world! Yeah, that's my amazing singing voice. But anyway, she talks the robotics expert into helping her. And also the fact that she rerouted the cameras to loop, which he got in trouble for, and stuff like that. But then she also has a kill switch. He says, "Can you deactivate it?" And she's like, "No." He's like, "I can't deactivate it. The only thing I can do is remove it." So he does. He removes the kill switch. So now they can't turn her off from remote. And then, so Mr. has an ex-wife or something like that he role plays that Lacey is, and Lacey's the name of the android, and she tries to play up that role play a little bit too much. Says, "Hey, can I go out and go shopping?" and blah blah blah, and he immediately turns off the role play and says, "What are you talking about?" No. She's like, I need to go down to get fixed. So she actually breaks her own ankle, so she can go down and have him deliver that letter or that message that I was telling you about. So here's where she writes the little letter and the whole bit. And the artwork's okay. It's serviceable, but that's about the extent of it. So it gets delivered. And then the arms expert guy breaks in, and I hope nobody recognizes him, because I don't think he's wearing a mask or anything. And then all of a sudden, she didn't realize, but they start killing people. They start killing the security guys and stuff like that. And she's like, I don't know if I like this, but she grabs the kid and leaves. But where's that picture? Oh, here. So he comes in to save her, and he's got no shirt on? I'm confused about that. Wouldn't he come in, like, totally covered up, so nobody would recognize him, masked up and everything else, but he doesn't even have a shirt on? I don't know. I'm totally confused by that. But anyway, they do get outside, so it is successful. And Mr. is pissed off, and he kills one of his security guys, and he says, "Go get her." So right now, it's very similar to other things that we've seen. There's nothing over and above that's different. And I'm kind of hoping there's some kind of a twist in there, because we've seen the sex worker robot escape. We've seen it go to the outside world. We've seen, it's Blade Runner. That's what the whole thing. They all escaped. Some of them were sex workers. And, we have a Blade Runner to go, knock them down. And it's the same thing. there's really no difference right now except for the relationship of the characters. That's the only difference. So I'm kind of hoping that she gets some kind of a twist in there soon. There's only two issues left. So, and right now it's just following the same thing that you would have seen in any movie or TV show. I think that even Being Human or something like that with Gemma Chan, that was the same thing, where they all kind of grew it together to be a militia rebellion or whatever. The ones that did escape. So again, it's nothing new. So we've seen it 100 times. So let's see if it changes and gets original in some sense. All right, so let's jump on to Image. I've kind of fallen out of love with this book. I really liked the book in the first issue or so. The second issue got a little strange. The third one got even more strange, and now we're on the fourth one, and I'm just like, I'm done. So this is about a girl whose parents made a deal with a demon cat. And this is by Mirka Andolfo. I don't know. I've never read anything else by her. The artwork's decent in here. So, yeah. So she has these cats in her, these demon cats, and if she's in proximity of other people, then they go into their brain and they see Deb, which is the name of the little girl, or the teenage girl, as a messiah. And then they fight each other over her favor. So they're like, oh, I love her more than you, and they start killing each other. So she basically causes mayhem and death no matter where she goes. So her mom has her locked up, and these other agents have been after her. But we haven't seen those agents since the second issue. So they just disappeared completely. So I really don't know what's going on anymore. So this is almost like, it's only 4 issues, and I feel like this is like a filler issue. It doesn't go anywhere. There's nothing here. That's new information. So again, I'm completely over it. Because in the last issue, we ended with her father finding her, right? And that's totally, in this issue, totally forgotten until the end. I mean, it's like the writer just totally forgot. So we start out with, you see the little cat, the 3-eyed cat there. So we start out with her younger, with her mom killing people. And she thought her mom was an assassin, but not protecting her. And she's telling this to a little girl that's possessed by her. And the cats are all there, and they're like, we're doing you a favor. And she's like, no, you're ruining my life. I'm stuck in this room for the rest of my life. And meanwhile, the little girl is like totally possessed. So she's playing video games with a possessed girl next to her. Thankfully, there's nobody else there, so she's not fighting with anybody. And we have a flashback of her wanting to get a video game console, and then everybody in the store, all the workers in the store go crazy, and she's more upset that her thing got destroyed than the guy who just lost his brains. Because his mom shot her. Her mom shot him. And yeah, so she's more upset that she lost the console. Unless I don't know why she didn't run over and get another one. She was in the store. So now she's talking to the cats. It's just too weird. So she's playing this like online role-playing game. And it's, multiplayer online. So she's speaking to the people that are on her team. And, of course, that they all live near each other, because that happens. Bull. Whenever you're playing a multiplayer online play, there's barely anybody within driving distance. Everybody is all, across the country, So anyways, they're close enough that she can actually run out the window and walk there. So they meet at a diner. So I have to put real life in the back end because that's impossible. In fact, my buddy flew all the way to Australia to meet with one of the guys that he was playing with. So we have a diverse cast of friends here that then they go to an arcade. I don't know what arcade would be open because she snuck out because her mom was sleeping. So it's got to be, 11, 12 o'clock at night right now. And there happens to be an arcade open. Not buying that either. But she infects them too. And of course, this is all a flashback. And so that's what I'm saying. This is a filler issue. Do I need this flashback to tell me the same thing I already know? No. I don't need this at all. I already know she drives people crazy. I don't need to see it 10 years ago. There's no information. So this is where the writer finally realizes that how the other issue ended, because she runs out and her father's there. So unless she's been with her father this entire time, but we don't get reminded of that at all. So plus half the issue's over. And now the father finally shows up and then shows her, that he can control the powers and stuff like that. So that's the only thing I can think of is that she's been at his house the whole time, but he doesn't show up until the last page. It's like, what? And the other guy that was in her apartment complex that she was flirting with is now infected also. So her mom's going to war and the whole bit. So, yeah, not a good issue at all. Not good. So will it make a good film or television show? No, this is all over the place, man. I don't even know how this got published as a comic. So, recap. No, Purr Evil, again, started out okay, but has gone in the trash. I mean, this book is trash. And Red Light, I'm hoping that Sarah Cho will surprise me with something. Give me some kind of a twist. Because right now it's just back to basics. And Blade, no. Unfortunately, that thing's fallen off a cliff too. So right now I am 3 up and 3 down. There have been episodes I've done that I've liked them all, but this is not one of them, unfortunately. In fact, I'm on a pass on every single one of these books. If you're collecting, I'm sure. I think I unsubscribed from Purr Evil already. I think this was like the one. I don't know if I'm going to continue the last 2 issues, and I don't care. I really don't care what happens, which is not good if your readers just don't care and have become apathetic to your book and your characters. Yeah, you wrote a bad book. Blade, I'm going to continue with and hope that it gets better. And then I'll continue with Red Light to see if there's any kind of twist. All right, so that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for helping me grow the channel. And make sure to give me a thumbs up. Click the thumbs up or give me the middle finger, whatever way you like. And also, click that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed already, then why the hell not? All right, and then check out some of my other videos over here. Remember, at the end of the month, I am going to have a late pledge which I think I'm going to go to Indiegogo with the late pledge for Lords of L.A., my vampire mob set in the 1950s. And I've been working the last 2 days on setting up the Kickstarter for Mark Spears and my card game. It's a deck builder area control, so if you are a board gamer and you like deck builder games, then this is going to be awesome. It's a classic monsters. We also have like an Dark Oz expansion that we're putting out, and the page is looking pretty good. Of course, I'm waiting on the last pieces of artwork so I can get the video done and that kind of thing. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys have a great week. All right, thanks guys. Bye-bye.